I want you to give me the biggest smile in the world. She goes, I need to see that. And I said, oh, why? Because my face was all puffy from where I was crying, and I was actually praying for like a miracle for my mum to be saved. And she was just like, please just give me the biggest smile you can. And I did. I gave the biggest one. I was like this, with my eyes welling up like they are now. And she goes, that's all I needed. She was just like, I want you to know that I love you, and I'm always going to be your mother. I'm always going to be there. You're not alone. My name is Thanjeema. I'm 30 years old, and welcome to Unique Purpose.
What's your favorite car brand and why?
Oh, you got me there. Easy. Nissan GTR.
Really?
Yes. Japanese made, Japanese model. Goes way back to like the 80s. And it's an anime everywhere.
That's
So,
true.
yeah, forever my number one car.
What about, you're driving the Beamer right now?
Yeah, I love Beamers too, but my heart is set on Nissan GTR.
Have you ever owned any Japanese cars?
No. No, I do, one. Little Suzuki, little blue.
Was it good?
Yeah, a great run around before I passed it over.
Okay.
Needed an upgrade.
And you did?
Too quickly.
Okay. When I say mother, what's the first thing that comes into your mind?
Heart. Mother is the heart of everything. She beats for everyone. You take the heart out of the equation, it's like, what are you left with? It's something that I can't express to you when that heart is taken away, what it does to you as a person.
Were you close to your mom?
Very close. Very close. As teenagers, we rebel. As I got older, I realised that's when I needed my mum more. And when life hit hard and I was confused with my life, didn't know what to do, like, she was just like our guardian, just guiding us through it. So she was everything.
How many of you are there?
4. 3 boys, 3 girls, 1 boy.
And how long has it been since you lost your mom?
3.5 years. It'll be 4 years, December 5th. So not long.
Do you want to share what happened?
She got sick out of the blue. It was when we were coming out of COVID, but we're still under restrictions. We all just thought we got the flu, but I think hers was really bad. And then got to a point where she was then hospitalised, and then she never came back.
I remember that it was on my birthday.
Yes.
So every time I celebrate my birthday, obviously, I can't avoid it, but I always think about you, your family, and your mom.
I know. And the fact that you turned up, that, I still talk about it to my sisters this very day. I was like, out of everyone, Stefan turned up. I forget, other people, but it's like, I can't believe he turned up. And when I saw your face, that's why I just went and hugged you, because I was like, part of me was happy you were there, but also it just meant a lot to me that you turned up.
I know I asked you about how close you were to your mom, but can you just give us a little bit more depth to that answer?
Depth to that answer would be, we would do anything for her, and we did. When we moved out of Reading, it was a huge decision. We were there since my sister was a baby, so that was over 20 years. My mum wanted change, and we made the biggest change of all, of moving all the way up to the Midlands, like a huge jump, not down the road, to the Midlands. And it was because she wanted to get away from everything. She wanted to build a life for her children. So me and my sister said, okay, we'll give that to you. We'll work hard. We'll move to the Midlands. Did 6 months worth of research on where to go, where to rent. And then finally, just, with prayers and stuff, we found a rental, and we just made the decision to go. If my mum needed that, then we wanted to do that for her. And then the aim was then to buy a house, which we did, you know, working dog hours and my sister working those hours. We saved. And then we got that phone call saying, your offer got accepted. And then I remember my mum's face. She was just like, I can't believe my 2 daughters did this for me. Even though she only lived in that house for only 7 months. I think those are the best 7 months of her life. And I think she only knew that her children could give her that happiness. Like, she lived for us. She didn't live by us, she lived for us. Everything she did, the sacrifices that she made, the hardship that she went through in her own marriage, it didn't matter unless her kids were around and were okay. So it's more deeper. I can't explain the connection to you, but it's like a part of my mum is still inside of me.
Yeah.
Part of her soul I carry with her. Always. Even when I got that phone call when she passed away, like, even then, like, I felt it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Was it hard when she passed and you were still in the house that you bought literally for her?
Yeah, I think that was the hardest because it was new. It took us, I think, a good 8 weeks to renovate the whole house, top to bottom. My mum picked everything, carpet, paint, everything, bathroom. And it was when we realised that she's not here anymore, everything feels so empty. Mm-hmm. And we would walk into her room and it's like she wasn't there. Normally we would walk in there and she would just be lying there on her phone. You guys ready for breakfast? Let's all go downstairs. My mum was from Ashton-under-Lyne, so she was from Manchester. So hearing her northern accent used to just resonate with us all the time. And then walking in there and the room feeling so empty, it's like nothing mattered anymore. But I think we just had to say, you know what, we did this for her. We achieved it. So at least my mum knows now that she is in paradise that she knows that her kids did enough to just bring her the smallest amount of happiness. So it was difficult. Like, you know, walking around, it's like you felt something was missing. She's not in the kitchen anymore, cooking, pottering around, doing the washing, hearing her footsteps. She had a very particular set of footsteps, and then you don't hear that anymore. I just felt really cold, really quiet. And yeah, it was, you kind of get numb. I got numb. I got angry, I got numb. I shut everyone out. So yeah, it's something that takes time to process, especially in a house.
She must have been really happy, and the word is not even satisfied, but fulfilled. The fact that she saw the 2 of you, the 3 of you, buy a house. It's because it wasn't easy. Straight after COVID as well. Yeah,
no, it was not. I think we were only in our rental coming up to about a year, but from like about 6 months we started looking, and it wasn't finding the right house. And then suddenly we found the right house, and my mum was like, this is the one. This is the one, I want to live here with my kids. And luckily, house market dropped. Mm-hmm. So we got a really good price for it. And there was loads of potential, and my mum fell in love with it. She was like, there needs a lot of work done to it, but she goes, this is my family home. This is what I want. And as 2 daughters, so me and my younger sister, that's an accomplishment that I don't think a lot of people can actually do, especially for their mothers. And we feel honoured and proud that we were able to do that for her, knowing that, okay, even though mum's not here anymore, we did this for her. And we know we did this for her. And she saw it because she lived it for the 7 months that she was there. But I think deep down inside she was really proud as well. She was smiling, calling her friends, oh, I got my house, we're starting to do the decorations. That's how she used to say it on the phone. I remember it so vividly. And she used to take videos on her phone, and that's how I could see. Like, I never seen, like, my mum just beamed. She had these big pearly white teeth as well, and she just beamed. Like, it was like a glow over her. But yeah.
Do you still live in the house now?
No. So I'd probably say within that year we put it up on the market. It was just me and my sister, so maintenance got really high on it. Wasn't getting any support financially from anyone else. Life hits you hard. You see true colours about people as well, and I think that was a massive wake-up call for us. And we just had to make the decision, because at the end of the day, it's the memories that made that house. Everything else is just bricks and walls.
Yeah.
Everything else is hollow. You know, somebody else would come in and change everything. So we had to make that decision. It took a long time to sell, because I think that's when, like, we were just coming out of COVID and everything. So it took a while to sell. So I think it took about a year to sell, and then we got there in the end.
Was it difficult emotionally to let go of that house?
Yeah, I was really like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. This is where our house was. This is where mum was. You know, I found it really tough. But then I had to put aside the emotional side and had to think logically. So it's like I had to put my emotions on pause and be like, okay, can I actually maintain this house? Can I fulfill everything I need to do for this house, you know? And we had to make that decision. My sister was just like, it had to be a joint decision. So it took me a long while to come around, but we had to do what we had to do to survive at that time. Because, everything changed after that.
What's your last memory that you have of you and your mom together?
Before she got sick, it was Iyaz's wedding. So we went to his wedding, and that was where we saw everyone. We all were dressed up and we drove down. My mum loves partying in the car to her music. Enrique Iglesias, it's her favourite. That was the last time, the last fun memory we had, because then a week later she got sick. So there was so much going around, whether it was the travel, was it when we went to his wedding, did we catch something, this and that. But the more we go over it, the more we question. We never found out the exact reason why my mum got sick so quickly. And within a space of 5 weeks, she was gone.
So she wasn't sick prior?
No. Like, we went there, we were having fun and all that kind of stuff. And then out of nowhere, we all came down with a cold and flu, and then one thing led to another. My mum got it worse compared to the rest of us. Doctors didn't really give any antibiotics at the time. They gave it like a week later. And then, that's when we had to make that decision and call the ambulance. And they took her straight away.
How do you cope on a day-to-day basis?
Ooh, tough question. I have to fight every day. I have to fight knowing that I haven't got that parental guidance anymore. I had to think about how would my mum want me to live my life? What would she want me to do? She doesn't want me to sit here and get depressed and wallow away like I did. I got pretty bad, like really bad. And I just had to think, like, my mum was this ray of light in our life. Like in Islam, above everyone, your mother comes first. Okay. So when it talks about it, is we say, mother has paradise under her feet. Okay. Because women, we bring life into the world. So as soon as you were brought into the world, your mother had paradise under her feet. And I kept reading that quote over and over again, knowing that, okay, my mother's in paradise. Why am I so angry? Why am I so upset? Like, I know she's happy. I know she's content. Obviously, we look at it from like a spiritual aspect. You know, she's reunited with her father, so my grandfather. And I had to put aside my anger because that was my drive. I was just angry all the time. And then I realized that, what am I angry about for someone that's not here anymore? So I had to kind of like strip back to basics. Okay, let me deal with things one by one, slowly build that resilience in terms of trying to control my emotions. I didn't grieve properly. I did everything the opposite, and I think that was my coping mechanism. So I just did everything to distract myself. So I drowned myself in work. So I went back to work way too quickly. I think I only had 2 months off, and then I went back into work because I couldn't cope with just sat there thinking about everything, what we could have done differently, how we could have saved her. Like, it was too late in that sense. So I just distracted myself with loads of things. I made that mistake of just burying everything inside and not talking about it. Every time somebody would bring my mum up, I would walk away because I didn't want to deal with those emotions. And I did that for a good 1.5 years until I broke and everything just came out. I couldn't hold it in anymore. And I think that helped me change perspective. Like, it's okay to grieve.
Yeah.
Like, everyone does things differently, but I think learning that it's okay to be sad. It's not a weakness. I always saw it as a weakness because I had all these responsibilities on my shoulder. But I realized that it's okay to be weak at times.
Yeah.
It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry, because suddenly I was, next in line to look after the family, and it was so much going on. Finding a new place to live, my job, my sister's job, selling the house. Like, I didn't actually sit and think for a moment, okay, my mum's not here anymore. Why am I not crying? Why am I not sad? And I had to question those things over and over again until one day I just broke, and I felt it from inside, like my chest, that I was holding that in too much. And once I did get that out of my system and actually talk about it, because there was so much trauma and drama with the hospital and with my siblings, and at the time my father, it's like I never actually broke down and processed everything. And when I did, it's like I started to understand things. I started to remember things, because I totally blacked out. Like, I don't even remember what happened the day of my mum's funeral. Like, that's how out of it I was, until like the next day, like, oh my God, my mum's not here. Where is she? So I had to allow myself to grieve. And there are people that are probably still grieving who have lost their parents like 15, 20, 30 years. Like, I look at it and it's like, mine is only coming up to 4 years. And my mum was only 50. So when I look back at it, it's like my mum was so young. And that is always playing in my mind. Like, she was so young and she left. And it's like I had to make peace with that, because I was in denial.
Yeah.
I couldn't accept it. So over the years, I'd probably say in the last year or so, I started to accept it. That, okay, she's not here anymore. I just can't call her or text her or say, okay, let's go out somewhere and do something. That doesn't exist anymore. Still to this very day, I struggle just looking at her photos that I have saved on my phone, because it just reminds me of that was my mum at this time. And then when my mum was in the hospital, it was like she was two different things, two different people, because something happened and it's like she completely changed. And it's like, I want to remember my mum as that beam of light that everyone remembers her as. I don't remember the time where she started to lose herself in that hospital room. And I think it made it worse is the fact that because they put her in a COVID ward, we couldn't even see her properly. You come in once, you can't come back for 10 days. And we got a call 3 times in the night saying, you need to come and say your goodbyes. Your mother's in palliative care now. So she's just living out her last days. 3 times they called us and we went there. The first time, my mother looked healthy as anything. And then the second and the third time, that's when we started to realise, okay, I don't think our mum's going to make it out of this. And we had to force ourselves back into that ward because they just wouldn't let us come back. Like my 3 siblings, my brother and my 2 sisters, they forced themselves, they slept on the floor in that ward because where I had already left, they didn't let me back in. So they only allowed 3 people.
Okay.
So I basically had to say goodbye and not come back. And I had to go home because they didn't let me back in. I was like, if you're telling us that this is it, like I should be here. So the trauma that I have and the trauma that my siblings have are 2 different things because they watched my mother pass away. But my mum, we started to see, and I had to accept that, okay, my mum's not coming back. So I remember I got a video call. My sister video called me and she was just like, oh, mum wants to talk to you. And my mum was there and they were like feeding her. And she was just like, I want you to give me the biggest smile in the world. She goes, I need to see that. And I said, oh, why? Because my face was all puffy from where I was crying. And I was actually praying for like a miracle for my mum to be saved. And she was just like, please just give me the biggest smile you can. And I did. I gave the biggest one. I was like this, with my eyes welling up like they are now. And she goes, that's all I needed. She was just like, I want you to know that I love you and I'm always going to be your mother. I'm always going to be there. You're not alone. And then she hung up the phone because she had to go. And that was the last time I spoke to her. And then later that day, exactly at 4 p.m, I got that phone call that my mother stopped breathing. She didn't come back. And because it was a COVID ward, they didn't resuscitate her because it was, at the time, they didn't allow it. So there was no chance of bringing her back.
Have you received any support from friends or family?
I get verbal support. I think obviously family is mainly just my siblings, my grandmother, so my mum's mum. I get a lot of support from them. Friends, obviously the close ones, they're always giving me verbal support, emotional support, and being there as much as they can, because it's difficult because sometimes you don't know what to say. And I tell them, like, it's okay. You don't need to tiptoe around me. Like, you don't, like, whatever you say, I'm going to appreciate those words anyway. But I think it brought me and my siblings a lot closer. Because where we were so in our own different paths and our own different journeys, I think it brought us together, especially me and my 3 sisters. We're 3 different personalities. And we represent our mum in so many different ways. Obviously, I get told I look like her the most, and I have that maternal instinct. I still don't see that part. But I think it brought us closer to each other on a different wavelength, and I think my mum played a huge part in that, because she was used to say to my sisters when they were in the hospital room with her, you guys have each other. You guys have to rely on each other. You are all each other have. Whatever you go through in life, whether it's something good, whether it's something bad, whether it's something that is breaking you guys apart, you have to come together no matter what. You guys are my kids. I brought you into this world. I want you guys to make sure you keep the relationship and bond that you have no matter how bad it gets. And I think I really focused on that because I was always one like, it's not my sisters, whatever. Can't be bothered, that kind of thing. Now it's like, I got to talk to my sisters every day. Obviously, I live with one, but it's like we talk with each other every day. Our WhatsApp is always pinging off. That's the only reason why I'm famous, because of my WhatsApp. And I think definitely with my family and my sisters, it brought us a connection that I don't think we realised we had. And I think that helped us heal in different ways. And obviously I'm grateful to my friends. Some friends were there more than others, but that's okay, because sometimes people struggle with that as well, because they don't know what to say, they don't know how to act. But I appreciate the people that were there, and that's what I'm going to keep, like, always. Like, you know, a lot of people, you know, sometimes they need armies of friends and family. I think with me, I do better with a small group. The people that actually mean everything to me. So I appreciated both sides.
Did religion help you just to get you back up on your feet?
Yeah, I think I always struggled with my religion. So in Arabic, we say iman. When your iman is weak, it means your connection to Allah, so God, is not there. There's something that's like missing. So it's like, okay, you're not praying, you're not calling out to your creator. What's missing? Why have you lost yourself? Come back, talk to me. And I struggled with that all the time, because I think where so many things went wrong in my life, I lost faith in my own religion, my own creator. And I think everything that we believe in, so the way we see things is that Allah tests us individually. So he can test to be like, okay, I need to push her so then she knows that she can come to me and call out to me. Losing my mum brought me back to Islam. I never strayed away from it. I think I just didn't prioritize my religion. You know, I questioned, like, you know, I'm wearing my scarf, I'm covering myself, I'm fasting, doing Ramadan, but then I'm not actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is my prayers, not forgetting to call out to my creator, to rely on my creator when things get bad. So it played a huge impact. And suddenly I was praying my 5 times a day. I was reading the Quran every day. I was crying on the prayer mat, which I never used to do. I used to just rush my prayers because I wanted to get off. You know, I've done it. I had to really dig deep to find my connection with my creator again. And it was actually something that someone said to me. It's like, if I had to simplify it, your connection with your creator is like Wi-Fi. One minute it gets really, really low, and then suddenly you've got like 5G, and you're not forgetting your creator. And I learnt that from losing my mum, because it made me realise that I'm only here in this world temporary. Like, us as Muslims, we believe that we're only here temporary, you know? Like, we have to live a life here so then we can make it to paradise, so we can be reunited with our loved ones. And I can only do that if I actually call out to Allah. So I started to research, read. I was reading Quran, but I didn't know what I was reading. So I got one in English translation as well. So as I was reading, I can see what I was reading. And I think it made me realize that, you know what, this life is so precious. I don't know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to make it tomorrow. Why don't I change things? Let me not forget who I am. Let me not forget that, you know, I'm a human walking on this earth. But really, I need to aim to be able to get into that paradise that everybody else is crying for, where my mum is waiting for me. So it's like, I had to make those changes. I read more about death in Islam, what happens to the soul, what happens when, you know, someone gets buried, because at the time you don't think about those things until it's actually happened to someone you love. Like, we all go to funerals and stuff, but we never actually looked like so deep into it. And once I started to read into it and listen to the YouTube videos of scholars, it put my life into a different perspective. I need to change my ways. I need to call out to Allah and be like, I'm sorry for everything that I've done. Like, forgive me. Like, I need help. I need guidance. Have mercy on me. I'm not perfect, but Allah didn't create us to be perfect. God didn't create us to be perfect. You know, we have temptations everywhere. And like, my mother was so spiritual. She always used to push. What are you praying for? You need to pray with your heart. You need to pray with your soul. You to ask Allah that one day you want to get married, you want to have a good life, you want to be healthy. And that is always at the back of my mind. Like, I never listened. And it had to take me losing my mum to actually wake up and realize that, like, what am I doing? Why am I putting this off? Why am I not putting my heart into this? You know? And I'm grateful. Like, I'm proud to have faith. And I love talking about my faith as well. And I feel like, you know, I'm getting closer to my creator. You know, I'm getting close to Allah. I have moments where I dip, but I think that's just because I can get a bit weak-minded and I get emotional. But if my mum could go through all the pain and suffering and hardship she did in the 50 years that she lived, I can at least do my part. I can learn from that. So I feel like religion helps you get through it. It helps you heal. Because there are passages that I read in the Quran and it's talking about life and death, and it just puts so much into perspective, and you don't realize that your heart starts to feel a little bit lighter, because where it was so heavy and so tight, you start to feel like, okay, I can breathe a bit now, knowing that, you know, I've got, you know, Allah watching out for me, guiding me. You know, when I put my two hands together and I ask him for help, like, I know that he's listening. So, yeah, definitely religion is a huge part.
What would you advise to anyone who is going through something similar like this?
It's okay to feel everything. Don't put aside your feelings. Don't feel like, I can't do this, I can't do that. Allow yourself to break down. Allow yourself to be angry, be sad. Take it out however you need to, whether it's talking to someone or not talking to someone. If you come from faith, really rely on your faith. That is a huge thing. Whatever you believe in. Try not to lose yourself in the process. It's okay to ask for help because it is not a weakness. And that is something that I learned in the last coming up to 4 years. Being weak and emotional, it's okay. Because there is so much the human heart and mind can handle. And grief is something, everyone says that time is a healer. In my opinion, it's not. It's how you deal with that healing. What you do with that healing. Find a way to heal yourself. Rely on the people around you to help you through it. So I would say, let everything down. Don't put a wall up like I did. Let everything come crashing down. Allow yourself to crash and really allow yourself to grieve. No matter what distractions are in the way, allow yourself to grieve. And then slowly you find yourself on that path of healing and finding self-peace within yourself. Because you have to make peace with what's happened. And that takes time. There's no time limit to that. So allow yourself to find that peace. Allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to feel everything. Because if you don't, you're just going to be a ticking time bomb. And that's the last thing that you need. And you take it out aggressively in other ways. And don't shut people out. I made that mistake. And I learned from it. You know, trust those in your circle. And allow yourself to heal. Allow yourself to find peace. So that's the advice that I would give.